told you. Still float.
It's amazing.
It's easier to
It's like the only one listening or saying. I heard, I was. This is what we're doing, right? Yeah. There are actually, they let you fill out a card up front. And then you've got 3 minutes. I think there's a couple of people speaking tonight, so we'll see how it goes. Donna, you've got a new assistant. Maybe. Oh, maybe. Did you see that? Behind the screen. 10 off. And good thing you're here. Good thing you're here. We don't know what's going on. Here's a chair here. He said you turned on.
So there's an open office right now. Are you gonna appoint somebody? So you can like, this person, so.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Just 4 hours.
When was your last night then?
It's been a minute.
There you go.
Had said that,
At 6 o'clock, I want to call this meeting to order and ask everyone to please rise for the pledge of allegiance and prayer.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day and for this community. Pray that you guide and direct us in everything that we say and that we do as we conduct city business tonight. Thank you for all that you do for us. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Next
up is roll call. I am present. Alderman Williams.
Present.
Alderman Bolerjack.
Present.
Alderman Whalen.
Present.
Alderwoman Cisco.
Present.
City Administrator Burbridge.
Present.
City Clerk Kohler.
Present.
City Attorney Weber.
Present.
Chief of Police Chase.
Present.
Finance Director Stacy Houston.
Present.
We have other city staff. We have Melissa Du Bois from Park and Rec. We have Brent Young from the Street Department. And we have Josh Kochedow from the Electric Department. Do we have any other city staff? Wanda. Next item up is the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion, we approve the agenda.
I'll second.
I will call for the vote. Alderman Whalen.
Yes.
Alderwoman Cisco.
Yes.
Alderman Williams.
Yes.
Alderman Bolerjack.
Yes.
Next up is the consent agenda. Do I have a motion for the approval of the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second. I will call for the vote. Alderman Williams.
Yes.
Alderman Bolerjack.
Yes.
Alderwoman Cisco.
Yes.
Alderman Whalen.
Yes.
Next up, we have 3 people to speak for public comment. Correct. First, person out is Michael Williams, public speaking. We have 3, each individual tonight has 3 minutes of for public comment. Go ahead, Gary.
Okay, unfortunately, without a microphone, the crowd is gonna have a difficulty hearing me. I am Mr. Williams, and before I begin, I am self-identifying as a person with disabilities, and therefore requesting reasonable accommodation on my time under the Americans with Disabilities Act, specifically under the Effective Communication Standard, which was updated in February of 2020. Fair enough?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay,
Sure.
I'll need more than 3 minutes, to address the body, which is a Title II covered entity under the ADA. Can everybody hear me back there? Okay, thank you. I'm here to discuss the policy for public comment in these specific meetings, which was posted on the city website as part of the February 3rd Alderman packet. While at face value, public policy seems innocuous, but when looked at with some scrutiny, it becomes problematic on a constitutional level, specifically the First Amendment. I quote, "Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people to peaceably assemble, or the right to petition our grievances to our elected officials." It was further enhanced, and that was codified December 15th of 1791. It was further enhanced by Glitgo versus New York in 1925 to include other legislative incorporated bodies as part of the due process clause of the 14th Amendment. Basically, Congress doesn't enact it, but that also means no government can. The policy I'm speaking of is exactly that. It's not a law, and it's not an ordinance, and it tramples on the First Amendment. The time the citizens are granted to redress our elected officials, simply put, is their time. Time which they have the right to expression within the confines of protected speech. Section 2 of the policy, your policy, states despite any adjustments, the speaker's time, allotted time, cannot be transferred to another individual. Transferring my time may be a form of my expression. My First Amendment right protects that expression, specifically that of redress and peaceful protest. What I do with my time is up to me. Section 6 of the policy, subtitled Respect and Decorum, is either further problematic. How about we rename it? If the aldermen don't like what I'm saying, they can censor me. I quote from the policy: all speakers are expected to address the Board of Aldermen and fellow members of the public with respect and decorum. The use of language encompassing lewd and obscene content, profanity, libelous statements, and insulting or fighting words, those that by their very utterance cause harm or tend to incite an immediate breach of peace, will not be tolerated. In such circumstances, the presiding officer may intervene to ensure order is maintained. Excuse me.
Do you need a chair? Would it be easier?
It would be much easier.
Here, take mine.
Actually, if I could just prop myself right here. Thank you. I'm trying to not turn my oxygen on.
You do what you have to.
Well, it's a little noisy. Respect, as both a noun and a verb, is a feeling of admiration for someone or something that you believe has good ideas or qualities. So if I feel disdain for this board or any member sitting on it, does that mean I don't get to speak? Decorum, defined as a noun, is a behavior that people consider to be correct, polite, and respectable. I am well within my First Amendment rights to be incorrect, impolite, and disrespectful. Any law, ordinance, or policy that says otherwise is a violation. Free speech, protected speech is unpopular. Popular speech doesn't need to be protected. Continuing with part 6, and the attorney might want to take note here, there's clear federal case law that banning language which include lewd and obscene content, profanity, and insulting words are in fact protected speech. Cohen v. California is the gold standard. Any attempt to preemptively stop a citizen from that expression would most likely result in an Article 6 violation of prior restraint. I urge the city attorney to brief the members of this body on the damaging effects that Section 1983 federal suit would have, especially if brought by more than one complainant or by a well-organized body of citizens. Finally, I urge every subsequent citizen who speaks to challenge this policy here and tonight. Didn't use your time? Yield it to the next speaker. Want to cuss or flip a bird? Do it. Don't make liable statements and don't use non-protected speech. Remember, we the people are the owners of the city, county, state, and nation. The Bill of Rights does not grant us rights. We already have those. The Bill of Rights is a list of what the government cannot do. There's a reason free speech is at the top of the list. If you swore an oath to uphold the Constitution, perhaps it's time to brush up on the document that you swore to and honor your oath. If I have any time remaining, I yield it to the next speaker. Thank you.
Next up is Debbie Murphy.
My time tonight is going to be regarding the lease, and I'm not sure if this is going to be voted on tonight or if there's a second reading that comes. I noticed on the memorandum that's associated with the lease for Healthy Dent County, it's signed for tomorrow. So I'm here to ask that if you're going to be doing an absolute vote tonight, you delay that. There's people in this town that do not know about this lease. And I'm not here to downgrade or anything with Healthy Dent County. I'm here to hold you guys fiscally responsible for the city. You handed Healthy Dent County a gift with a wrap on it, $10 a month for 10 years. That 10 years is gonna go beyond whoever serves on this board. So you're going to be involving people that are not elected yet, that will be elected. There's not enough information for anybody in the city. I'm only been here 4 years. I don't know the history behind this building, but I do know that the city owns this property. It was in there. There's also information on the lease that's coming up about the utilities. I don't know what the $2,400 meant. And in order for you to be fiscally responsible for this city, you're giving this building away beyond what anybody else would expect to get for a lease. So, inform the community. There is a, you are responsible to who voted you in. And I'm only one person, but I don't think I'm the only one that is totally confused by why you would enter in this type of agreement. So before you vote this in, you need to tell your constituents what it involves and why you decided to take this action. Thank you. Oh, I yield my time to the next speaker.
Lisa French, come on down.
Okay,
Come on up. One or two.
okay. I just have a couple questions and then I'd like to make a statement. First question is, I understand that the city clerk will be out of the office for an extended period of time following a surgical procedure. So I would like to know an answer tonight, if that is the case, who will be standing in, so that when we come in, we know who to ask for. I see that there's an assistant, maybe being appointed this evening. But anyway, just so we know, not just rumor. Okay, that's one thing. Next thing is, I'm sure some of you saw me at the airport. I know somebody did. The airport's a city airport. And I'm curious, who owns, if you're standing at the fuel pumps, the building, hangar, whatever it's called, directly to the right has a cupola up on top. Who owns that building? Can somebody tell me? Yeah, a cupola, the weather vane, little, that's a cupola. It's Well, does the city own the buildings out there in the hangars, or do pilots, because they said pilots have built them over the years?
Well, they rent them, I know that.
Is that the,
If you would like to get, Ms. French, if you would like to get with me tomorrow, I can answer your question.
That'd be great, because I went out there a little over a week ago, saw that building, and thought, wonder what's in it. And, you can see in the windows, there's some planes in another part of it. It's a pretty big building. But then there's a garage door that has windows in it, but it faces grass. Now, I know nothing about planes. Maybe you can taxi on the grass, but I thought that's kind of an odd place to keep a plane. But the door was shut, and the windows were all papered over. Okay, but it was peeling off. The paper was at all the windows. Couldn't see in. But it looked like there was something really nice in there. Looked like some chrome. It was not an airplane. So I came back about a week later with a flashlight. Somebody filled in all those little openings. Somebody knew I'd been there. I'd like to know what's kept on city property. Who's renting that? So if you can tell me that.
You get with me tomorrow.
I will. I'll get with you. Okay, so I've got several questions on that. Last thing's a statement that plays off of what Mr. Williams said. I'm sure there's been rumors out there. I don't like rumors. I like transparency, facts. Okay? My constitutional rights were stepped on big time. I have had an attorney review the body cam footage that I got from Chief Chase. It's my move, and the other people who've had this happen, what to do next. But he said absolutely, unequivocally. I'll leave it there for now. Not rumor, fact.
1983.
I have a question, why can't you just answer her question?
About my medical history?
No,
Your
not her
medical
medical.
history?
Oh.
No,
I
the,
don't, I'm not concerned about that.
The assistant.
oh,
And
Who owns the building and whatever she wanted to know?
Well, I can, but I think,
Does it take too long?
it's their policy not to answer us anymore.
Yep,
yeah, they stated that in a meeting.
They will not.
I've got it.
Okay, okay.
Well, next item up is, my appointment. I'd like to have.
sewer.
I'd like to make the recommendation of one sewer to take the place of Miss Tammy Kohler in her absence for, medical leave as assistant city clerk.
I would move.
Temporary assistant city clerk.
I would move to approve, Ms. Wanda Sir to be temporary city clerk in replacement of our original city clerk, Tammy Kohler, while she is on medical leave.
I'll second that.
This time I'll call for the vote. Alderwoman Cisco.
So it's not temporary, it's assistant city clerk.
Assistant city
Okay.
clerk. Make a motion
So-
to approve.
I would move to approve Wanda Sir as assistant city clerk.
All right.
Thank you for correcting that now instead
I
of.
mean, I'll be happy to explain the difference.
No.
Well, temporary would be filling in for her
Yeah,
assistant is
yeah.
the position that we're filling.
Right, right, but that person then fills in if
When it
the
is.
clerk is on vacation or has a sick day or.
I mean, she's not available.
Right.
All right.
We're good.
We understand. The mayor set us up. No, I'm just kidding.
Alright. I'll call for the vote. Alderwoman Cisco.
Yes.
Alderman Whalen.
Yes.
Alderman Rosehill.
Yes.
And Alderman Williams.
Yes.
Time, would you like to administer the oath of office, please?
Raise your right hand and repeat. I, Wanda Seward, do solemnly swear that I possess all the qualifications for assistant city clerk as prescribed by law, that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Missouri, the provisions of all laws of this state affecting cities of this class, and the ordinances of the city of Salem, Missouri, and faithfully demean myself in office, so help me God. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item up is the request for road closure. On the highway, what is that, 19? 4th Street, Highway 19.
Mr. Benowitz is here, I'll speak on this. Mr. Benowitz is here, last meeting, but, wasn't able to talk in length about this. Basically, this is for the 100 Acre Wood Rally, which is this weekend. They have a park expose downtown to show off the cars, come to the car show. It'll be a big gathering, we have international competitors coming in. They would, and the committee has asked, or the 100 Acre Wood Performance Rally Group Committee has requested the, road closure of 4th Street, from Jackson to 19, to be closed. It'll probably be from around, 8:30, to around 11 or so. AM on Saturday.
I would move to approve the street closure from 4th Street from Highway 19 to Jackson for the 100 Acre Wood Road Rally, Park Exposed, there we go.
I'll make a second.
And I would like to just thank Mr. Benowitz for bringing this attraction to Salem. It's a lot of fun. I know that, I have very young nephews and they get very excited about this time of year, seeing all the cars coming in. So it's just very fun for our community to have a part in this.
Even our own Kyle Williams.
Good luck,
Stresses
Kyle.
me out.
Well, at this time, I will call for the vote. Alderwoman Cisco.
Yes.
Alderman Whalen.
Yes.
Alderman Williams.
I will abstain.
And Alderman Boyd.
Yes.
Our next up is the street closure for the annual Salem High School Senior Parade, Class Parade.
I would move to approve the street closure for the senior high school's class parade, May 11th at 6 p.m.
I will second.
I will call for the vote. Alderwoman Cisco.
Yes.
Alderman Williams.
Yes.
Alderman Boyd.
Yes.
Alderman Whalen.
Yes.
Next item up is new miscellaneous business for resolution number 8-2024.
Resolution number 8-2024, a resolution authorizing the donation of property by the city of Salem for development of affordable housing for the benefit of the community by the Salem Housing Authority.
This is for the area over there, the old middle school grounds.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Just making sure.
Yes, so I don't know how much detail you guys would like to put on this. This is, in the event, the whereases, this is one that maybe I would request to be read. Might be happy to do it if we don't want Tammy to, but I feel like it's important for the community to hear and to understand why, what we're doing and why.
Yeah, what we're doing. Yeah, go ahead.
I agree.
You want to, Tammy, or want me to?
I can.
Okay.
I'll just reread that.
Okay, that's fine.
Resolution number 8-2024, a resolution authorizing the donation of property by the city of Salem for development of affordable housing for the benefit of the community by the Salem Housing Authority. Whereas rent is the biggest and most important expense each month for most households, and whereas approximately 108 million Americans live in rental homes or apartments, and 1/4 of these renters spend more than half of their monthly income on rent payments. And whereas when residents of affordable housing can make their rent payments, they are able to spend more on local purchases such as healthier foods, better access to healthcare, and spending more at local businesses. And whereas evictions spark a cycle of instability for families, which harms a community's social and economic well-being, which is why affordable housing that leads to housing stability works to prevent evictions no matter economic climate. And whereas among other factors like income and education, housing is a component that drastically influences a person's physical and mental well-being. So housing is a social determinant, I apologize, of an individual's and family's health. And whereas individuals in housing that is poorly constructed or maintained may be exposed to lead paint, water contamination, and a slew of other environmental risks that can lead to chronic health issues for children, families, and seniors, which come at enormous and preventable cost to both the residents and their communities. And whereas developing more affordable housing creates more job opportunities by hiring construction companies and creates the need for additional staffing for maintenance and operations once built. And whereas affordable housing provides the chance to decrease childhood poverty and is the foundation for establishing healthy habits and allowing children to focus on their goals in education. And whereas the city of Salem, Missouri desires to assist in the development of housing options for community members for all of the reasons stated above. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Aldermen of the city of Salem, Missouri as follows. Section 1, the Board of Aldermen agree that should the Salem Housing Authority secure adequate funding for the construction of 24 affordable housing units, the city of Salem shall donate approximately 4 acres of the property known as the old middle school grounds for such purpose. Section 2, if a Salem Housing Authority should not secure funding for construction of the above-mentioned housing units, the city of Salem shall retain ownership of the acreage known as the old middle school grounds. Section 3, this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after the date of its passage and approval.
So just a couple of additional points to go with this. The Salem Housing Authority was created originally by a donation, from the city of property to build the first public housing units on. It is, while not formally a part of the official governing or functions of the city daily, the Board of Aldermen, the Mayor and Board of Aldermen do approve their board members, who serve on that entity. And so it was an entity created specifically for the development and the management of public housing within the community. And so this is an extension of that same relationship.
She does that to me all the time.
Discussion from the board.
I've had a couple residents reach out to me that live over on 10th Street who've gotten wind of the development that's potentially going to take place on that lot, and they're just they're requesting that the board wait to approve this until more information is provided to the citizens. They would like more. I did mention to the individual that this is just the beginning stages, that there's certain when getting approved for a grant, there is a point system, and it requires you to gain so many points before even being considered for the grant. And the property being donated to the Salem Housing Authority, Sally, please correct me if I'm off base or getting off base, but is another way for them to get another point for that grant.
Right,
Correct.
multiple points.
Multiple points, I apologize. I don't know if anybody else has anything else they wanna say on that, or?
And again, this is contingent upon the security plan.
Yeah, they have to secure it first.
You know, if it doesn't, then the property doesn't transfer. The other piece of this is, you know, we are all aware, we see it every day, folks are looking for housing and are struggling to find adequate housing. So both folks within the area who find themselves in need of making a move, as well as folks moving to the area. So it's something that, not just us here in Salem, but nationwide is a struggle.
And I know this was shared in, sorry Mayor, I think I just cut you off again. I know this was shared in closed session, so I'm not sure how much I can share. Are we able to share like kind of the details of the property of what they're wanting to do? Or is that still supposed to be left in closed session?
Well, I would say that, first of all, their plans are not finalized.
Right.
So I'd be hesitant to share too much of that, because.
I know that some of the concerns that was mentioned is that so many times there was a city park that was mentioned to be built on that side of the town. So hopefully that is still an opportunity to be in that plan. So I don't know how much I can share, so that's why I'm kind of, because it was a closed session item to
Right,
this
it was.
meeting.
Well, we have a lawyer here, he should know about closed session, if it's been brought out of closed session, it's right there in front of you.
Exactly.
You shouldn't be able to discuss it. Go ahead and speak. Sorry. Keep me up.
I don't see an issue with what you discussed already. I don't think you're right.
Can't hear him.
With regard to that.
It's not a breach yet, okay.
As far as whether or not the plans are finalized too, what you said earlier is really the answer to the question, which is we don't know what the final plans are.
Right, okay.
Well, speculation.
Yeah.
Could I say something, just please, out of
Representing the neighborhood.
I'm flabbergasted that this is happening, that such an important decision is going to be made without anyone in the vicinity. First of all, my name is Joyce Stroberg, and I live over right by that lot. And I'm flabbergasted that this is gonna be like voted on, and nobody even knows really what's going on, because the last meeting was closed, like you said, and I would just like more transparency with
What's your
what happens.
concerns?
Pardon?
What's your concerns with it being built?
Lowering the property value, for one thing, and, I guess my concern mainly is that I wish that it didn't have to be voted on tonight as a yes or no resolution, that it could possibly be tabled until more people have time to digest this, because it's a big deal, and it's not just a big deal to us in the neighborhood. I mean, we've lived there through the falling down school, through the Indian debacle, we've seen it all. And that's all I'm requesting, is that it could possibly be tabled till more people know what's going on.
Have you,
I would
looked
really,
at the housing authority's, history over here at McGrath Edition?
I have, as far as their history, you mean,
Well, the property value has gone up, just like the rest of the city has. It's very well maintained, it's probably one of the better ran entities in the city of Salem.
okay, but.
And we've got 24 people that could possibly have housing that's.
You have a citizens is asking for you to table this until everybody can be involved.
and there are, from my house across the street from
It'll
that
be
lot,
fine.
there are 6 empty houses
Yeah.
that have sat there, some of them for years. I mean, there's low-income housing all over that neighborhood.
Would you
It
go
does-
with a tour on me? I would like to show you some low-income housing over on Truman Street.
How about we,
No running water for 2 years. We are gonna have a decorum here. We had a
I
hearing, you got to
identify
speak,
decorum.
you got to
Get
speak.
ready to pull me out,
I've got
because
time.
we own that property. The city cannot donate something the citizens own.
Mr.
And I-
Williams, Mr. Williams,
Go ahead.
I have as many people supporting it as you are objecting to it.
But do they all back up to it? He
Are
does
you,
and
are
I
you
do.
It
an
doesn't
East
matter.
Ward Alderman?
There we go.
It does
doesn't
not
matter.
There we go.
No,
Another
are you
one.
pulling me, Greg?
I'm having him.
Can
point
you
out 'cause you're
film
gonna-
this?
Are you pulling
Are
me?
you arresting him?
He's not arresting him.
I'm asking him to be
We're getting,
all
we're
of
getting
the
way,
forum.
we're getting way out.
It's up to the mayor.
Yes.
But we are asking to be heard.
Because
Okay, the thing is you can't interrupt when they're trying to explain it to you. Okay, so he's asking you to leave, so you need to leave.
You're gonna,
He
under,
said it doesn't matter. And so
It
then
doesn't matter
we're trying
when
to have
I
a discussion.
represent the whole city of Salem.
You don't.
You don't.
I do.
You don't.
I do.
You don't.
You are the West Ward.
all right? So, city attorney, 1983 lawsuit coming.
You can
That
join me,
includes you,
Mr.
Chief.
Williams.
Now, can I finish?
Yes, sir.
You've got people in this town that cannot afford housing, that have not had running water for 2 years. Okay, you're okay with that?
No, sir, I'm not.
That housing over there is a perfect model. It has not lowered the property value one bit.
Can
Not
disseminate that
one, not one
information,
bit,
sir.
not
We-
one bit.
We didn't know that, and you just asked if we know it, we didn't.
That was her concern.
Exactly. Some of
one
us
of my
back up, and if
concerns.
they're doing well, cause so many things in this town fall apart, and they're never maintained, and if they're
That's
doing a
not-
stellar job, show us.
That's a separate, drive through it and look at it.
Okay, now that I know about it, didn't know about this till last night.
You go investigate the airport, go investigate that.
Sir, I cannot investigate everything, just like you guys don't until we know.
You-
I will go look at it, I will.
Go
I'll
look
go
at it.
tomorrow, sir, I will
Go
do
talk
it.
to the housing authority and see what a great plan is.
I will do it, I guarantee
Then
it.
tell the
I appreciate
people.
it. Can we go on to the next issue?
At this time, I need someone to either make a motion to approve.
I make a motion that we approve it.
Yeah, second.
I
think. Go ahead.
So if I can speak before me.
Go ahead before I do anything.
Before you ask me a yes or a no, please. I am in favor of this. I love the idea behind what it's going to bring, and I wish that, the plans could be shared with you. I hate that I don't know, nothing's set in stone right now. They just have to have a letter from us stating that we're willing to donate the property depending on,
No, go ahead.
oh, sorry, I thought you were telling me to stop. I'm like, am I saying too much? We have to provide a letter to their board to be able to apply for the grant. Nothing is set in stone, nothing is saying that this is going to happen. they do not know if they will even qualify for the grant itself. But it is to provide, housing for the low income. It's going to be very similar to what is just, where am I at? Just right over the hill over here where all the elderly are living, in those apartments. That's added value on this side of, the city. So I do see both sides, Ms. Stroberg, and I appreciate you calling me and expressing your concerns.
And I appreciate you talking.
I appreciate you taking the time. I apologize that it was during work time, so I was very thankful that you felt confident and trusting in reaching out to me, and I appreciate the conversation. But and I did weigh in the concern all day. You know, it's one of those things that you just don't stop thinking about. You know, I'm just one of those people that like to put myself in your shoes and think about it from your point of view as well. And I may have shared a little too much with you today, and I loved our conversation. It was very open and honest, and I appreciate that from you. But I do see it from the Salem Housing Authority's point of view, and as the city as well, and from yours too. I do like the idea of providing more housing as we see several people that are without homes or living at Grace Harbor right now, and those with children. I would like to say that I am in favor of this happening, but know that just because of what the board decides tonight isn't a definite answer. It's just going to allow the Salem Housing Authority to apply for that grant. And then I think at that time, it's going to be Sherman Odom and probably, is it Misty or Missy? Missy McCarran, who will share plans of their development plans. And then from there, they will be able to express more of what could potentially go on that area.
Can I say one thing?
Absolutely. I will give you, I'm nobody, but I'll give you grant.
I just, you know, it's the way this is being done. It's so abrupt. And it's like giving no one the opportunity to even know what's going on in this town and this situation. And yes, I'm well aware there are many homeless people. I get it. And there's more and more every day, and it's gonna get worse. But I'm just saying, this situation could be tabled if we the people were heard a little more. And you know what? It's not just me. It's everyone in that area, you know. There are several people that I talked to today that are out of town, and they wish they could have been here to hear this. Nobody knew, so. Anyway.
And I don't know if it's okay to speak, is it, or not?
Go ahead.
Okay, so it appears to me that there's been issues with infrastructure. So how can we add more to the infrastructure and expect it to be right? I don't think that the infrastructure is there for additional units, especially that many. So that's one question, and I'll stop there.
And I really wish that Sherm was here to be able to share his numbers and statistics on why they believe that another housing unit is very valuable and needed for our area. But I have to be careful with what I share outside of closed session of what was shared with us at our last meeting.
I don't think anyone's questioning the need, I'm just questioning the infrastructure.
Maybe what you should consider, instead of a town hall, have a public hearing. Table this and have a public hearing.
There's enough here saying that.
Yeah.
Mr. Williams, we back up to that property.
The board did, the, school board.
We are giving orders saying this is a possibility.
If they're able to secure funding, and there's still a lot of up in the air still here, because we still have to, there's gonna be a finalized, you know, plan that I think they'll have to share with us. There will have to be, whether or not they, are able to get the grant in itself, this is null and void as soon as if they can't secure the funding for it. Beyond that, it's gonna be, they're gonna have to take a look at, you know, what they're gonna have to finalize plans and come to us.
Right.
We still have a lot of authority over them.
And that's what I was trying to, you know, let
This is not
Ms.
the
Stroberg
end all
know,
be all.
is that this is not for sure this is what's going to happen. This is literally the very first step for them to be able to even see if this is a possibility. And so before anything could even happen or transfer, there would have to be another vote, which is going to be a whole lot of plans being shared with the public.
All right. I'd always like to add too, so I know this came up, pretty soon for folks. This is the first time they're seeing this. I do think it's probably worth taking the time to table this to our next Alderman meeting, have a presentation from the Housing Authority on what their plans are, and being able to get feedback from those that could be affected around that area. If I was the property owner next to the property there, I would want to know what the plans are. And
more information.
more information to understand what the project is. Just to hear from all sides. I think that's what I would recommend.
And before we move forward, maybe we could schedule a special meeting or something with Sherm, because I know they're on a deadline as well.
Yeah, I think we'll
So
blow
I
that
don't-
time window.
I don't remember when that timeline was, do you?
It was pretty tight, but I think.
Pretty tight.
It was very tight, but I think that we have a little bit of time to maybe schedule a meeting for this project potentially. So, I would also like to look into having Sherm and the Salem Housing Authority Board present on their potential idea of what they want to do with the property.
Okay, so let me go through the first vote of the
Please.
motion to.
If you don't get a second, we don't have to vote.
Alright. This time I'll call for the vote. Alderman Whalen,
Yes.
Alderman Williams,
Yes.
Alderwoman Cisco,
No.
and Alderman Bullard.
No.
Alright, this time I will be the deciding vote, and I will say that we need to table this, so I give an opportunity for the public to get more information, okay?
Alright.
Because I've heard from several events today, and, there's a lot of concerns about property value, I understand that. At this time, do I have a motion to table this until we can get some more information on this?
I would move to table resolution number 8-2024 to gain more information from the Salem Housing Authority for the citizens.
I'll second.
This time, I will call for the vote. Alderwoman Cisco.
Yes.
Alderman Bullard.
Yes.
Alderman Whalen.
No.
And Alderman Williams.
Yes.
Resolution number 9-2024 is the next item up.
Resolution number 9-2024, a resolution authorizing the mayor to renew the tower lease agreement between the city of Salem and Wave Internet Technologies LLC for the installation of wireless broadband access point with related equipment on a designated portion of the city of Salem's water tower located at Tower and Condrey Streets, effective the first day of February 2024 for the period of 1 year.
Thank you. This time, I will open it up for discussion.
So this agreement, of course, will be retroactive back to February 1st.
I have no problem with it.
All right, well, do I have a motion for resolution number 9-2024?
I move to approve resolution 9-2024.
I'll second.
There's no further discussion, I'll call for the vote. Alderman Williams.
Yes.
Alderwoman Cisco.
Yes.
Alderman Whalen.
Yes.
And Alderman Bullard.
Yes.
Next item up is resolution number 10-2024.
Resolution number 10-2024, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute contract change order number 1 between the city of Salem, Missouri and BCS Electric LLC.
Okay, so this original contract, was awarded back in November of '22. This project, which is the running the wire, the electricity to the light poles, this was all part of the original program under the ESP program. And at that time, we had made the decision, the city had made the decision to pull that funding and take it in-house. So you'll see there in the description that originally under ESP, this whole total project was expected to cost $86,000. Like I said, we did pull the funding from that program. We have that now separate from ESP. We did award bids, like I said, back in November of '22, for labor only at that time, with the city purchasing the materials. During that time, and Melissa is here tonight, between that time and now, as we're wrapping up that project, some changes were made to the project, mainly to preserve the ball fields. Is that correct, Melissa? So the original plans called for running the lines, digging ditches, and running the lines through the ball fields themselves, which would both disturb the turf, as well as if we had future issues, we'd have to dig up the ball fields and they wouldn't be usable while we were making repairs. The changes to the plans are to run those lines outside of the field to each of the poles, so that we're not, A, digging up our turf and our ball field, and then B, if we have future issues or maintenance that we need to do, the field won't be out of commission because of that. And so even with this change order, we are still significantly below that original estimate of $86,000 that was set aside for it.
$31,000 savings.
Yeah, so I mean, we're still doing, is it that much?
Yeah, we're looking at about $55,000 there, where the quote
Plus
price was.
the change order.
Yeah,
So,
okay,
but we're still, like I said,
yeah, it was gonna be 86.
right, we still have a good margin
Okay.
with that, so. Are we
Yeah.
open to any questions? Like I said, Melissa's here also, she was part of those conversations, for that change.
I'm ready for those lights to turn on. I move to approve, resolution 10-2024.
I'll second.
2 years. This time I'll call for the vote. Alderman Williams.
Yes.
Alderwoman Cisco.
Yes.
Alderman Whalen.
Yes.
And Alderman Bullard.
Yes.
Thank you. Next up is the streetlight bid approval.
There it goes.
Oh, sorry.
Page 46.
Well, okay.
You click the middle button, or click the wheel. There you go.
Alright, cause that's nice, right? Okay. Now, there we go.
Josh, would you like to present this?
Yeah.
It's a little bit more.
Yes. Asking to get, approve the purchase of 50 LED dusted on lights. There's 3 companies there, I can get them from either one. We just got pricing, kind of letting you guys just decide. The top 2 are similar to what we have now out. The bottom one is still an LED, but it's kind of a different style, so it'll look a little different. Just depends on.
It's for city streetlights.
Yes.
Okay. Because we have quite a few of them now.
Yes, we can no longer buy mercury vapor bulbs.
Yeah.
They're a thing of the past, so when that light goes out, we're kind of stuck with
What
nothing.
you got, yeah.
So, I mean, we need to purchase some more so we can replace some and get them back going where they're at.
I noticed the one that you're wanting, Josh, has the 10-year warranty on.
Yes, the top 2 both have 10-year warranties on them, and I deal with Fletcher Reinhardt. We buy a lot of material from them, and they're very good about, if something goes wrong, they'll send it and pick it up whenever they come down to deliver it or however, so.
Thank you.
Thank
And we got 15,000 budgeted and we haven't spent any of the 15,000?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Okay.
At this time, I would move to approve the bid from Fletcher Reinhardt.
Second.
This time I'll call for the vote. Alderwoman Cisco.
Yes.
Alderman Williams.
Yes.
Alderman Bullard.
Yes.
And Alderman Whalen.
Yes.
Thank you. Next item up was tabled from our last meeting was, the chain link, fence bid approval.
On this one, everything is the same. I've spoken to Donnie about this. He just had some questions, and we've gotten that resolved, so it's back on.
And I'll add, under the fiscal impact, 'cause I see we've got all the fixes here, we had 40,000 budgeted in this line item, I'm not sure what happened there. Sometimes in conversion to Adobe, things go a little crazy, but, there's 40,000 in that line item, all of which is remaining at this time.
So he's okay to move forward
Yeah,
with
yeah,
this
he's
if approved?
recommending, yeah, the
Okay.
J&M construction,
Cause I know we had some concerns last time.
right, but those, yeah.
And looking at all the bids, if I remember correctly, none of them are local, they're all from out of town, all
Correct.
those who did bid.
Correct. And the low bid, did you explain that to me just now?
I did not.
Okay, the low bid, the 24,000, the Leo Morgan fencing, they did not provide warranty information on the fencing, which was a requirement of the bid package. So that's why they've been deemed non-responsive.
That was my next question, but I thought that, I remembered that from the last one.
At this time, do I have a motion to approve the chain link?
Make a motion, we approve the chain link fencing by J&M Construction for $29,950.
I'll second. Oh, go Sean. Take it, run with it.
Any other discussion? I will call for a vote. Alderman Will,
Yes.
Alderman Boyd.
Yes.
Alderman Cisco,
Yes.
and Alderman Williams.
Yes.
Next item up are first readings, first reading of bill number 3601.
Just back that.
Bill number 3601, an ordinance authorizing the sale of a piece of real property.
So this item, this piece of property is a lot at the corner of Second and, is it Hickory? Hickory, Second and Hickory Street. It was donated to the city through the voluntary residential demolition program. So the owner had inherited the property and they do not live in the state. They weren't interested in, taking the efforts to clean it up. It had a foundation with wood floor still on top of it. I believe there was a cistern on the site as well. So they donated the property to the city. We have since had the demolition of the foundation and the cistern done, so that's all cleaned up, it's leveled. And we did discuss it in a staff meeting with management team and superintendents, just to make sure that we kind of picked everyone's, had everyone's ideas and input in, was there some type of municipal use? In the voluntary residential demolition program, part of that policy stated that if property was donated, staff would kind of assess the property to see if there was a use. Was it close to a trail? Could it be a rest station, added to the park system, things like that? Was there some other city use for the property? And we could not come up with a use based on where it is, the size of the property. It's actually too small to build a house on and meet setback requirements and minimum square footages. So staff's recommendation is that we surplus this piece of property and put it available for sale via sealed bids.
I'll have to look that up.
If it would make it a park, it's kind of right in the middle of a residential spot. I know, I'm all for trying to get parks on the east side of town,
It would be a
especially,
very
like,
small park.
it would be, like, but a half size basketball court or something, half court basketball court or something, I don't know.
Let me help you with that.
A little
Yeah.
swing.
We had a park behind the fire station, and it was considered a park, but it had a picnic table and trash can.
I remember.
It became a meeting grounds to do drugs in that area. That is not safe for my staff to clean up after. And in that vicinity, there's several houses around there that are questionable, and it'd be safety for a park there for kids.
Yeah, there wasn't really any amenities there though, a picnic table and
Was that the homeless campground?
Yeah, it
Yes,
was,
yeah.
yeah, it
We
was.
were picking up paraphernalia
The amount of
frequently,
stuff
and it
that we
wasn't
had
safe.
there. It's not like there's a playground or anything for kids to play on or anything for that.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Yeah, it's the first reading. I'm just talking. Discussing.
We don't need any more city properties.
That's true.
Alright, next item up, first reading of bill number 3602.
Bill number 3602, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute a memorandum of understanding with the council for Healthy Dane County for lease of certain city-owned property.
First on it.
Any discussion, you guys good?
This is authorizing to execute a memorandum of understanding, is what I'm so this is not the actual lease. 'Cause I saw lease agreement on here, is it executing this lease or is it an understanding between? Lease agreement, oh, here we go. I'm curious.
It's the lease.
I didn't know if the wording mattered, like.
Oh, is that what?
What's that now?
That we would probably need to change the wording of the ordinance to reflect actual lease agreement. Again, this is a first reading.
Yeah.
I don't know that,
Just, I was just kind of curious, I saw it. Okay.
so, but it is to approve a lease agreement. Again, this
To
is the
approve,
first
yeah.
reading.
Yeah, so it's not, we're not voting on it tonight.
Correct.
No. Okay.
Good.
Yes.
Are we gonna discuss it, any changes or anything with it tonight, or are we waiting for the second reading to discuss changes?
Are there any changes you wanna make?
No, I mean from the previous one to now.
Oh. I mean, if you wanna discuss it, I think this one reflects exactly, a lot more what we do now. It kinda defines a lot better, the responsibilities between what Healthy Dane County takes care of in terms of this building as well as the city. Healthy Dane County helps out a lot with the community. I think this is a fair agreement. But that's all I'm gonna say on that at this time. This is first reading. This is, it's available. If anybody has any questions from the public, you're welcome to email me anytime. That's all I have. I'm done talking.
Well, next up is reports of city official boards and committees. Mr. Burbridge, you're up first, ma'am.
So going back to, earlier discussion, excuse me, about potentially having a special meeting for the housing authority to present plans. Do you want me to just get with them and see what date works for them? Do you want me to see what works for you all? Or do you want me to start?
I need to make sure that we have the timelines, we're not crunching them down too far.
And if we need to hold a special meeting,
Okay.
That's the question
that way,
right now.
we can, to provide more information to the residents and the public.
Wasn't it the end of May, Sally? I think we have time before the grants.
Yeah,
I was trying to remember I can't remember if it's the end of March or end
It's
of
either
May.
the end of April or the end of May.
Yeah, see, I was thinking first of May would be end of April, so,
Right.
but I don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I'm just saying if we need to all, everybody get your calendars out and schedule a special meeting. Get ahead of the ball.
Yes.
So do you wanna go ahead and set it now then? Sorry.
No, I'd wait till the board and decide what days are available first.
I think the best would probably be get a couple dates from them that are available and then
Okay.
shoot them our way.
Everybody.
Thank you for doing that, Sally.
That's all that I have.
Well, my report, I got a little bit of stuff. Knights of, well, not as much as you, Miss Francisca. Knights of Columbus, they're having a fish fry at the Catholic Church from, all the way from the 16th of February, all the way until the 22nd of this month of March, from 4 to 7 at 101 South MacArthur, in honor of Lent, which is Mass. Next item up we got is the Mark Twain National Forest. Salem Ranger District will be hiring 2 to 3 high school students for the Youth Conservation Corps program this summer. Students and recent graduates between the ages of 15 and 18 are welcome and encouraged to apply. The deadline to apply is the 29th of March by close of business at 4:30 p.m. For more information or questions, you can contact our main office at 573-729-6656. And last but not least, the ATC, the Den, uptown at 404 West 4th, they will have high school students helping themselves biscuits and gravy both mornings during the rally from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. Other than that, that is all I have for you tonight. Stacy, do you have anything to report tonight? How about Joe? You're up next.
And I'm gonna have to get some input from you on this, so I'll start with electric. Crew's been working on gateway antennas and making progress on repairs. Josh had identified some issues with the Cat 5, Cat 6 connectors. We actually took one apart on my desk and figured out a better way to hardwire that. What they had in place before was the external cable would connect to the base of the antenna, and then where that connection was, there was nothing but just a little jumper wire, so it basically connected to a connector that moved over and connected to the motherboard on the antenna. So what we talked about was drilling that out and making our cable run all the way in, weatherproofing that seal, and then eliminating some of the issues we've been having with weather erosion, and mostly the cable connection on the outside. The few that have been repaired this week, when you unplug them, they just fall apart in your hands because they're just not withstanding the weather like they need to stay operating effectively. Back to that. And I spent several hours this week with Josh working on the Eagle One website, learning how the system is put together, how the water meters, the electric meters communicate, where their connection points are, operating parameters, and so I'm learning that to figure out a process manual for diagnosing problems. When citizens have high bills, we can take a detailed look at why these issues are in place. Donnie is currently that's with water, he's currently at school, training, and along with Josh Hunt, and so he's meeting with a rep from Neptune, who's the city's water meter supplier, so we'll get to that, which, I mean, they run together because the water meters communicate with the electric, and the electric goes to the antennas, the gateways, and on. And so it's kind of two problems rolled into one that we're trying to get taken care of. City electric crews also worked on replacing damaged Cat 6 cable for the antenna at the admin building. Street department, they went to Park Hills this week and picked up asphalt for patching potholes, dig outs, things like that. The weather's allowed for them to get a start on that. The crew worked on it. I mean, they were out when I was out 7 o'clock this morning, and they were still out late this afternoon. They were pushing up yard waste, doing some cleaning and maintenance on equipment. We have some stuff that's slated for Purple Wave, some stuff that we're going to keep. And so the cleaning of the equipment allows us to make accurate assessments on what stays and what goes. Because if you have oil leaks or issues, it's easier to see where those are coming from on clean equipment. There was street sweeper was brought up, and they've been doing some street sweeping. East side, take it. That's what Davey was telling me, there was an issue over there, but they were working on that. They did put up some signs at the sewer plant. We had new sewer plant grates for the mechanic department. He built sewer plant grates for the water that flows from the clarifiers. The water that flows out of there is basically potable water, but the way the system sets up now for inspection and testing, there was not a great system put in place that would allow animals, coons, things of that nature to get off into the water, and if they get in, they get washed away and be stuck. And that would skew the outflow testing, and so we measured everything out, got the great, material bid priced, and then John was able to put that together. Then he also worked on servicing the cemetery mowers and equipment. Cemetery crew added topsoil in some places, seeding fertilizer and straw to graves, that were needing repaired. Certain times they get a little lean, because the stuff that comes out last is kind of the first thing to go back on. And so we get some of them that are clay topped, and so the grass just doesn't grow there, it just kind of looks unsightly. So they've been adding, topsoil to that. Working on the lawnmowers with John, and then they've been clearing the leaves out of the cemetery. Covered the training for Josh and Donnie. They're doing some DNR based training. Met with the vendors on the meter issue. Last week I met with Woodard and Coran. You might be familiar with those, Mr. Williams. And regarding a peer review of the wastewater treatment plant phase updates. And so what this company does is they're a specialist in wastewater treatment. That's all they do. And so they're employed by Doe Run and a lot of mines all around the United States. We keep 600 engineers on staff. And so what they're offering is a low cost peer review for the scope and engineering on our current wastewater treatment plant phases. They're meeting, they have a call in with Sally. She's gonna organize a time when Donnie and Josh are here, when her and I are both available, to where we can actually go out. They wanna look at our facility, see what's there, see how it's operating, and these people, this is what they do, they specialize in this kind of stuff. And based on their peer review, then we'll have information that we can present to the board, to the public, on how we best move forward with our wastewater treatment plant phase updates. The other part of that, Will has been continuing to work on replacing some of the meter well tops. There were some of them that were metal that were producing some interference issues because the antenna attachment is right up next to the steel, and so it doesn't allow for that signal to go through as clearly. Also working with Will on a kind of a diagnostic process on meter wells for troubleshooting them, and it's just a process that ensures that the meters that are assigned to the antennas that are assigned to the meters are in our system correctly, that the resolution is set correctly. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to get around. We had a massive number of rereads last month, and so we're trying to get that number below 2% so that staff can work on new projects instead of revisiting old projects.
What percent was that, Joe?
We're trying to get to below 2%.
Where are we currently at?
Well, so water, we were setting at 260 last month, so that's not quite, it's about 8.
Well, that was total.
260.
That was water and electric.
Yeah, but I think, we're
250 rereads?
I'm sorry, 260 total, about 20, I think, were electric,
Yeah.
240 were water. And so we're looking at some line of sight issues, we're correcting some of the gateway issues, and so we're
So you're
hoping.
setting up a diagnostic protocol?
Yeah,
To eliminate those?
Well, yeah, so that when he's approaching these meter wells, that he has a start to finish process, because there's a lot of things that go into that, and so accuracy is the number one issue that we're concerned with. And so we're developing that protocol so that when he shows up for a reread, what we're trying to do is we're trying to eliminate that reread to that particular one, because what we're going back to is the same addresses over and over. And so we're working to eliminate all those, and 3 a week is what we're looking to eliminate. And so we've been on that for about 2.5 weeks.
Are you finding any common problems?
There are some problems. So all the polytop meters with the antennas, they seem to transmit better. Some of the meter wells are continuing to flood, and they're not as water resistant as they need to be.
Right.
And so there's some connection issues that we're looking at remedying to make sure that the water doesn't infiltrate the connector from the antenna to the meter.
Okay.
Can I add something to this?
Go ahead, by all means.
It's not just as simple as pulling up there and making sure the meters match.
Right.
There's times that you may be an hour and a half, 2 hours working on one meter because of
Complexity of the system.
Right, trying to
Understand.
figure out why it's doing what it's doing.
Okay.
So it's not, I know he said 3 a week, that's, because you may go to one and know immediately, and you may go to the next one that you spend half the day on trying to figure out why it's not doing what it's doing.
In your opinion, is it installed improperly, not maintained?
I couldn't tell you on that.
Okay.
We're not finding that it's a install issue necessarily.
Okay.
There's environmental factors with some of it. Some of the areas that are notorious for rereads are in areas where we have high iron deposits.
Okay.
One's not too far from you.
Right.
And it's every month, so, and it's not a line of sight issue. And so what we're doing is we're doing a deductive elimination of all the
Possibilities.
causes. And, whatever we're left with is gonna be the last thing, and that's where we're hoping to correct that and get that into a manageable number. We'd like to see that number below 40 every month.
Another part of it is too, is that a water meter has to have an electric meter in order to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're familiar with the way electric runs through town,
Mm-hmm.
but there's certain parts of town, like on the west side,
Mm-hmm.
that they have city water, but they don't have city electric, just because that's the way.
Okay.
So it makes it a challenge to try and make it
West side.
work.
Sure.
So
I get
there's
you.
things that we have to do to try and make it work, and most of the time it does.
Are these other municipalities, do they encounter these type problems?
They do. And so, one of our biggest time consumers is, once we get a system back up and operating, then we get on the phone with NextGrid. They pull it to their main computer, and they see what our signal strength is.
Okay.
And what our, what I'm looking for. Connectivity, there we go. What that signal strength is the way it needs to be, so that water meter is communicating effectively with the closest electric meter that relays it.
Okay.
So, I mean, so yeah, it's not and so there's been a couple of places in town where they've had some issues, and there was an address over on Sligo, they had been having a cascading effect.
Mm-hmm.
And so, take up all the time. The meters we have are some of the highest quality that there are made.
Sure.
And so, as we look into this, the only issue that I've been able to identify so far is that they run a transducer system instead of an impeller.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have limestone in our water.
Right.
And that's the only thing I can figure that could potentially force that transducer to do a start-stop. And if it's doing a lot of start-stopping, then it could, in effect, cascade that to where we're getting higher water readings than what it's actually going through the meter.
Okay.
So and it's not a guarantee, it's just things we're trying to figure it out.
Sounds like you're gaining some important knowledge there.
Well, not anything I ever wanted to be a part of, but the way it works out.
I thank you again for stepping up, Jim.
Hey, no problem. So the construction crew, they tore out approximately 220 feet of curb and guttering, on Carty Street. And so when we did, they discovered there was a groundwater holding issue unrelated to any runoff from US Foods, from their cooling units. We just think it was a place where water holds. It ran for a little bit and then it quit, and it was dry today. So as an effort to mitigate any future run through that area, because that's what was causing that gutter to collapse, we did a fill with a 1-inch plus clean. So it kind of gives the water a way to go through without undermining everything. Did the overpack on that. They currently have it cleaned out, filled with the 1-inch. We're gonna work on the other tomorrow. And then maybe by Friday, we'll have a few sections of that poured in. It's just tough to work on that street because there's so much traffic. And so they've got to be very cognizant of the traffic around them, moving around heavy equipment. They also replaced curb and guttering on Jennifer in conjunction with new construction on the garage. And we also interviewed and hired a new employee for the water department to fill the open labor position. That's it. Question?
Thank you, Joe.
Melissa, you're up next.
Good evening.
Good evening, Melissa.
Just a few things I want to report on. Soccer is underway. We have one more participant than we had last year. We have 302 kids playing soccer this year. It's our second biggest sport behind summer ball, so it's pretty crazy. I want to thank Brown's Heating and Cooling. They sponsor all the shirts, and they actually sponsor the shirts at the cost that they are, and that's a very large donation, so I greatly appreciate them sponsoring the shirts for us. All of our games will start Saturday, October the 6th. I have my referees hired. We're getting ready to do a referee training.
Whoa.
Wait, what? April, sorry. I haven't had dinner yet, okay?
Kayla's like, what?
Oh my place, I had you down for April. Not October.
I'm sorry. So, April 6th, it'll be the 4 Saturdays. We start in the morning, so if you're bored and you want to watch some soccer, watch some kids play, encourage them, come on out. It's always a fun time, if it's warm.
Do you have all your referees yet?
Yes.
You do?
I do. We had a lot of returning, we only had a couple of new ones on, but we are gonna do a referee training, which is something I've not done before. I have a volunteer that's coming in that has ran soccer programs in Illinois, and he has volunteered to come in and speak with my refs, because it's not a sport that they all grew up playing, because we don't have it for high school, so it's not been a priority. But I wanna make sure that the kids are learning how they're supposed to be learning, and I think game time play, more than practice, is where they actually know how to play and learn the sport correctly. So,
Question.
Sure.
Before you carry on to your next one. Will the signs be ready for soccer season for the smoking?
I designed them this week, and I actually put the proper reading ordinance number on it today. I've gotten a company reference to get an estimate from, but when I went through that company before with signs, it took a really long time to get them. I also sent a quote out to a company I found online to see if they would do custom signs. I have not heard back from them yet, so I don't know what the turnaround time would be, but the design for them is made, because I was speaking with Sally and we kind of had a staff meeting, and I want them to be uniform to where it's not, we're just grabbing signs off of the internet, and one establishment has one that looks like this, one has, I want them to be uniform. I want the ordinance policy on it so that Joe has some grounds to kind of implement that.
Does Salem Publishing do anything like that?
I can check with them, I haven't.
I should know if that'd be quicker.
Maybe. I don't know if they do street signs or not, but I can check. They do? I will check with them real quick. Okay, perfect, cool, good. Next thing, we've had lots of people at the park. The parks are beautiful, it's really warm. My restrooms are not open. I have running water. I cannot open them for a nice weekend and then close them because it's not cost effective. We are scheduled to open, and I try to watch the weather and watch the AccuWeather to, sometimes we can open it sooner, sometimes it's a little bit later. We do have a few days coming up with some cold snaps coming up, and I don't wanna risk opening them yet. I have scheduled with, the plumber, they're coming, March 21st to open, so we will be open at Aldermen and the park, March 21st. Pavilion rentals, something that's new this year, pavilion rentals, if they wanna rent a pavilion, whether it be the main pavilion, which is Pavilion 1, which is closest to the basketball, goals and the tennis courts, that is $45, and then we have one behind the batting cages, which you get to at this back road back here. It sits back here, it's $35. Those prices haven't changed, but where you make your reservations has. So if you would please call city admin or stop by admin office, they have registration forms, and they're keeping the master calendar and then giving that information to me, and I'll put the cards up on the pavilion. So that's something new. Another really exciting project that we're getting to have, and I really appreciate Salem reaching out to Parks and Rec for extra hands. So Salem High School is having a service day. It's the same day that they do the ACT for students. So if you're not doing the ACT, you do service work voluntarily. So we have a big group coming to the park I don't know if you guys have noticed all of our beautiful trees in the park that we got last year donated. They're pretty awesome and they're growing very well and very rapidly. They've watered them well. We're gonna come and remulch everything. So we're looking for the proper type of mulch. And my guys have been digging out, underneath our pine trees out here. They shed really bad and we keep replenishing the mulch, but it's time to dig it out and start fresh again. So they've been digging it out and they're gonna remove it and we're gonna replace all of that with fresh mulch to make it look really nice up front.
This golf season.
Golf season?
Disc.
Oh, disc golf season. Yeah, it's always there's people always out there playing disc golf.
Really?
Yes, from different communities. I went out there, I was like, hey, where are you guys from? And they were from a whole different state, but had seen that we'd had it and they were traveling on business and. Any other questions? Go ahead. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Melissa. My apologies. I do wanna add, so in the main admin building right now, hopefully we'll have everybody back in tomorrow. We had a couple folks out sick today. So, as you are all well aware, we've had some staff changes in the utility office. With part of that, it was already planned before, but this week we have a lady who retired from Encode, which is our software for our utility billing. So she's there, she's training staff, working one-on-one with staff on, just to make sure. I don't think we've ever had formal training, for Encode, anybody. So, like I said, this lady's in all this week, assisting with that. Like I said, just in case we are short-staffed tomorrow, in case we still have people out sick. If we do, we'll be short utility clerks tomorrow. So just, we ask everybody to be patient. It just happens to fall the same time we're trying to train and do all this other stuff as well. So, keep that in mind. Like I said, actually excited to have this lady here to assist us with the software. And for anyone who might be job hunting, please make sure you check out our website. Under the employment page, we have all of our current postings. I will take down the soccer referees tomorrow, but we have all of our current postings on that page, with links to our fillable application and who to send that to. And we'll continue to update those recruit postings as we get those seasonal positions and stuff coming forward.
A burning question on my mind. This is probably not on your radar. Have you ever pinged, asked her about Celeron and working with it? Okay, cool. Just checking.
We've had all kinds of conversations covering all kinds of different.
That's all I was hoping to hear. Thank you.
Yes.
That was
How
burning.
many years of experience did you say she had with Encode?
18.
18.
Wow.
Yes, she retired from it.
Cool.
And prior to that, she had some municipal experience in the utility office.
Awesome.
So she knows, I've had Joe and Josh and some of our other guys
You
in.
feel like her competency level will be raised up with the training?
Absolutely.
Great. That's good.
All right. Well, I guess we'll start next with Alderwoman Cisco and the break. All right. Alderman Boyd, I will come back to you.
Thank you.
I have no report tonight. Alderman.
How easy it is.
Alderman Whalen.
I have nothing from the West Ward.
Quiet night tonight. What about you, Alderman Williams? Got anything to report? Anything about a rally race?
Yeah, right.
Alright.
No, not at all. So the rally race is coming to town, so be, watchful of that. There is free spectating. You can go to, let's see, it's rally.100aw.org, /spectating and find out all the information. It's also on town screen. They will be in town, as you just heard today. They will be showing off the cars, those that make it through the first day, on Saturday from around 9 to 11, when they take off from here. If you go down to watch it, be sure to park on one side of the road, for safety concerns. You want to stay onto one side in case we have emergencies, we need ambulances to get through. And if you go to the spectator spots, be prepared for a walk. We are going to have, the estimates are running around, 800 to 1,200 people coming into town. So show them some hospitality. They're trying to be on their best behavior as well. If you're out on the roads, there will be one day where the spectators or the competitors will be out on the gravel roads. They get one pass through, so for those who might want to talk to the school system, I might send them an email or something. They call it reconnaissance. They get one pass or two passes on each road at regular state legal speed to make any notes on changes to those, but we might want to talk to or inform the school system about that. Other than that, it's a good time. I'll be bracing, so that's fun. Yeah, right. But other than that, I support the ATC Den, and there's a couple of other places that are going to be doing some fundraising around. So there's a lot of things around this event. I'm happy to have them. Oh yeah, thank you for, I've been so jumbled. There will be a utility meeting still tomorrow, 6:15 here at the Armory. So we have a few things to go over, so if you want to make that, it's open to the public. Other than that, I have nothing else.
Awesome. I do.
Are your eyes ready?
Yeah, my eye is ready, thank you.
Ready for your encyclopedia list?
It's not a huge list, I have like 3 things. So, I am going to request the utility committee to review the utility deposits, that we just passed. A major concern of mine was whenever somebody purchased a home, what that would look like on an average of a 12-month billing period. I received some feedback from a few real estate agents that I work with. It is a very large amount after you just pay closing costs, down payments and such. So I am going to ask them to review that. So I do plan to attend that meeting tomorrow. And I'm hoping that they reconsider it and look at it. If not, I'm gonna bring it to the aldermen again. But it's just a large cost. This gentleman just purchased a home in town, new to the area, and his deposit was, I can't remember the exact amount, but I wanna say it was $700 and some. So that was a very large amount, and I'm wanting to maybe look closer to our smaller towns surrounding us and see what that's going to look like. But I'm gonna attend that meeting tomorrow and discuss that with them. I just wanted to let you all aware as well that that's something that is on my radar. Brent, I wanna thank you and your staff for doing the parking paint lines for me at the residence that I've mentioned. I know there's been several comments on that it's not been done. It's just very light painting, so I don't know if when they have time, if they can go by and do it again. Just a couple, make it a little more brighter. I know you guys did it because you could barely see it before, so I do appreciate you guys doing that. That's very appreciative. Pertaining to that though, there's not many comments that I touch on from Facebook. Most of them I just kind of brush off, but there's been several screenshots sent to me and emails that have been sent to me, and this is one that I want to address. So I'm going to address it tonight. I am okay with being considered too caring and too involved in a district that I don't represent. There's one thing that I do not do, and that is pass off work, and I will never pass off work. If a citizen from outside of my ward reaches out to me with a concern and they're trusting me that I can handle it, I'm gonna take care of it. As far as I'm concerned, we are one city, one board, and one goal, and that is take care of the city, the citizens, and their needs. So that is my goal whenever I'm running for this city. So if I'm being bashed for representing a citizen on the westward side, I'm okay with that, because his need was met and he's appreciative of it, and so are the citizens surrounding it. So with that being said, I'll move on to my next item. We will have a community involvement meeting on March 21st at 5 p.m. in this room. And then reminder that there is curbside pickup, but there is a spring cleanup, right? I'm not sure what day that's planned.
So usually the week after that.
Oh,
Yard
so,
sale.
yeah, we
Okay.
can,
So, I'm just noticing that the weather's getting nicer and I appreciate greatly people cleaning up their yards and their yard waste. But there is a very large amount of brush on East Third Street. And it's great, I mean, her yard looks wonderful, but it is kind of in the street. And I just wanna remind people that there's no longer a weekly pickup from the street department. You have to schedule that service with the administrator's office, and the $40, $40 to put that work order in, and then the street department will come by and clean that up. We canceled the weekly pickups, last spring, last summer, just due to it causing a whole lot of money on the citizens and putting the street department behind on their work orders. So we have requested that be scheduled, and it was a lot of money and fuel, for them driving around and looking for, wayside or yard waste, when sometimes there would not be any at all. So, I know your guys are about to be busy again, Brent, so, thank them for us, but I just wanna remind citizens to please put your work orders in. I appreciate you cleaning up your yards and making them look very nice, but, sometimes on the sidewalk is keeping safe, measures from happening, cause you're forcing people to walk in the street or ride their bikes in the street, so. That is all I have to report on tonight, so thank you.
sure, if you get a little oxygen left in you.
I do have a lot of oxygen.
Sally, would you like to discuss the dates that, or, I mean, like, pre-dates that we're looking at for, like, citywide cleanup, or would you like me to?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. So we're currently looking at the dates, cause considering we typically, the city hosts the citywide yard sale the first weekend or first Saturday of May. And we always hold 2 weeks of spring cleanup, cause we only have 1 week during the fall. We're looking at the dates from May the 6th to the 10th, and from the 13th to the 17th. And we, spoke with Administrator Burbridge about running this in front of the board to see if the administrator would be willing to approve those dates for cleanup ahead of schedule. So it kinda gives the public a head start on like cleaning your stuff up, because a lot of people, they get that last minute notice, or, you're not aware that it's going on, while I have help. Unless Kayla would like to come out, since she's happy it's warming up and everyone's cleaning their yards up.
Listen, you're out way too early for me. 5 a.m. for the gym is entirely too early, and I still barely make that. So no, thank you.
At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion for an approval of those dates from the board.
We can't vote, it's not on the agenda.
It's not on the agenda. Well, just for your consideration. Well, I'm just trying to
That's what he
give,
meant to say.
what I meant to say was, I'm just trying to give everybody a head start.
I like the idea, Mayor. Thank you for bringing it to our attention.
I'm gonna be like her, oh, I've got one more thing to talk about. At this time, the next item up is closed session for personnel and contract.
I'll move to go into closed session for personnel and contracts.
Second.
I will call for the vote. Alderwoman Sixton.
Yes.
Alderman Williams.
Yes.
Alderman Whalen.
Yes.
And Alderman Bullard. Yeah. Thank you all for attending that.